Welcome to Arise Entertainment 360. I'm Shannon Lanier.
And I'm Katura King, live from New York. We're here with your 360 look at entertainment, arts, and culture.
That's right, and we have some exciting news because we finally have a Super Bowl 52 matchup. That's right, the New England Patriots will face off against the Philadelphia Eagles on February the 4th at 6:30 in Minneapolis.
Okay,
I'm excited.
Thanks to his come-from-behind victory yesterday, people are now calling Tom Brady the GOAT. You know what the GOAT means?
Greatest of all time.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But he can't outbeat Serena.
Well, no, just greatest in football, maybe.
Okay, fine. And then Serena's the greatest athlete of all time?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. But then some people are debating, they don't know if Tom Brady is actually the greatest of all time because there's so many old school players that really have been
even
amazing.
In
yeah, but now, if we're just talking football, there are so many other players that have come before him that have really paved the way.
So we can say the GOAT of the millennium.
Yeah, he's right now. He'll be the GOAT of right now.
There we go.
You're the current GOAT. How about that? That's fair?
That's fair enough.
All right,
you sound like a shepherd.
Yes. Man.
Oh, goodness. Now, the celebs turned out in their droves to support the Women's March that held around the world on Saturday. Amy Schumer, Halsey, Padma Lakshmi, and Whoopi Goldberg joined millions of women and men for a second year of the march that began as a simple Facebook invitation to protest the election of the Don.
That's right, but you know, it has since become a whole lot more. And this year, the march also standing as a symbol of a global movement of the #MeToo and Time's Up campaigns. Now, last year, sister marches in all 50 states and 6 continents across the world mimicked the Women's March in D.C. And stars like Katy Perry and Jessica Chastain all taking the time to get to the streets in solidarity.
Yes.
And of course, Viola Davis.
Ooh, we love
my
her.
gosh, she was amazing. And she was really taking over the LA march because all eyes were on her during her speech. It was just a resounding speech.
Yes,
it was just
indeed.
so
Got
on time.
Everyone standing up, giving her a standing ovation. She's phenomenal.
She's the thing everybody's talking about this morning. So let's take a look at her speech yesterday.
And so the time needs to be helped by every single moment doing right. And the reason why these Jim Crow laws were in place that stifled my rights and your rights is because we fell asleep. We fall asleep when we're moving ahead and we don't look to the left and right and see that we're not including people in this move ahead. Because really, at the end of the day, we only move forward when it doesn't cost us anything. But I'm here today saying that no one and nothing can be great unless it costs you something.
That's what I'm talking about, sister. Say that.
Amazing. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, she like that little black power.
All right now. And staying with the Women's March, and Scarlett Johansson has also hit out an actor, James Franco. And this is over allegations of sexual impropriety. So she reportedly told the actor that she wants her pin back at the march in LA.
Yeah, that's a little low blow, but that's because, you know, she was, of course, referring to the Time's Up pin that both Johansson and Franco both had on during some of the award shows.
Yeah, because they've been publicly backing the campaigns.
Yeah, everybody's been saying Time's Up. They're wearing these pins, but she wants her pin back because of all the allegations against Franco, and they were made from over 5 different women. And Scarlett threw some serious shade at the actor for it.
Well, deserved shade, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But Franco, for his part, has suggested that the allegations are not accurate. He did, however, say on Late Night with Seth Meyers last week that he's opting to not issue a denial of any accusations in particular, so as not to impede the other allegations of sexual misconduct in Hollywood and across the U.S.
Yeah, if you didn't do it, you need to say you didn't do it. I mean,
exactly. That sounds like a very diplomatic way of saying something.
I didn't do it, but I'm not gonna say I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I did, but I'm not saying I didn't.
I
mean, you know,
come on,
hey,
man. Yeah, not
a good
acceptable.
look.
Not a good look. That's why I think he should get the pin back.
Absolutely.
At least stop wearing
Do
it.
the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, as we said, they wore those pins at the award season, and as award season continues, with the 24th annual Screen Actors Guild Goat Awards. As an Oscars observee, or, you know, person who's obsessed with the Oscars would say, that no film has won Best Picture at the Academy Awards without a corresponding nomination in the Best Ensemble category at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. And that has been like that since like 1955 when Braveheart won.
1995.
Oh, what did I say?
55.
Oh, yeah, 95.
Who acted in that movie?
I know, some old man. No, Braveheart in 1995. Excuse me.
That's very true,
Yeah.
and I know you're the Oscar obsessive between the two of us,
Yes.
but I do know a little bit about movies. So from what I understand, that means that expected frontrunners in the Best Picture race, Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, The Post, and The Shape of Water, will have to make history at the Oscars before assuming that each film scores a nomination in the first place. So this year's SAG nominees were The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, Mudbound, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, and Missouri. But the greatest win of the SAG Awards has to be my favorite, Sterling K. Brown.
Yes!
And this is us.
Woo!
He has been sweeping the floor of the awards.
Definitely.
I mean, doing phenomenal stuff and
And
deservedly
he deserves
so.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
he's been doing great work, and so I commend him. And I do, if I'm going to make any prediction for the Oscars, I'm going to say that 3 Billboards is going to take it home.
Ooh.
That's a big prediction. I'm
That's a big
just saying.
prediction.
We're going to watch and see.
I'm
We're going to be there.
hoping
Yes.
that Get Out wins something.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause I
Something,
love that
please.
movie
Just one
so much.
award. Take home something.
Did you see Sterling K. Brown's wife when he was called, when he won his award?
Yeah,
She
she
went,
was
"Wah!" Pow! And I thought
Get
to
up there,
myself,
boy!
this is brilliant. I
Yeah.
love the show of love and support. I mean, even though she hit him.
Yeah, right. A little violence, but it's
That's what
okay.
we
It's
do
love.
when
It's
yes.
love.
That's what you show. That's how you show love.
Love.
And
Tough love. I
Speaking of
guess.
people that were showing tough love over the weekend.
That's right. SNL marked Trump's first anniversary in office with, of course, a spoof of Dr. Ronnie Jackson relaying his report on President Donald Trump's health, and it was hilarious.
So funny. So you'll remember that when the good doctor spoke, it felt more like we were listening to the head of the Trump is actually super cool and like totes healthy fan club than a doctor.
I like that, right?
Because he repeated the
Typical.
word excellent more than 10, 12
Right.
times. And his words were effectively loaded with many of the infectious and empty intensifiers that generally pepper Trump's speeches.
And his pockets were loaded with money. Oh, no, I'm just saying. Oh, sorry.
I don't say that.
Okay, well, and that's why Saturday Night Live decided to have the White House physician on the show this weekend so he could set the record straight and finally share a total, unbiased, 100% accurate health assessment.
Really?
Or at least Beck Bennett, who played the doctor on the
right.
sketch, could. Yeah, well, let's just take a look.
The president has bragged about scoring higher on that test than any other president. Is that true?
In fairness, no other president has been given this exam. We typically only use it to make sure someone's not severely brain damaged or a monkey in people clothes. But the president grabbed me by the collar and insisted on taking it anyway. And let me tell you, his grip is unnaturally strong. He's got the strength of a guy that would fail that test, if you know what I mean.
And that was only a little bit of it. It got even funnier. They nailed it on that one. It was like,
He's
come on.
so healthy.
I know, so healthy. The healthiest person I've ever known who would live forever.
Right? 71 years old. Never seen a man younger.
I mean, like, seriously, come on. This is so obvious what's happening here, but either way, I had to
least
laugh
someone
through
loves
it.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Someone loves him. All right. Well, just in time for the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea, Team USA is unveiling its uniforms for the opening ceremony.
Yes, and they were designed by all-American brand Ralph Lauren.
Of
The uniforms will consist of red, white, and blue parkas and bomber jackets that you can see on screen now. And the coolest part about all of this is that both the parka and the jacket will contain heating components that will last up to 11 hours.
Wow.
The ensemble will definitely be keeping the athletes warm during the chill of winter, all while looking fiercely fashionable.
Well, I actually like them. They look pretty stylish.
Very cute.
I could sport those at the ski resort myself. Those look pretty. And the best part is they're going to keep them warm, so that is a good
Yes,
thing.
and that's necessary. I think I might need one of those in New York.
Yeah, oh, see, it is kind of cold here. I just hope they make the uniforms in the U.S. this year. You know, they've been in trouble in the past for not making the U.S. uniforms in the U.S. Come on, Ralph Lauren, give it the program. We'll see.
I'm staying out of that one.
Right.
Okay. Now on to things that I can talk about
There you
with
go.
reckless abandon. Drake. In typical Drake fashion, Drake is revisiting women from his past in a surprising new song.
Why not?
It's only surprising because he dropped it over the weekend. It's not surprising that he's talking about these women because, as we
Exactly.
know, that is what Drake does.
He does.
Now, the Toronto rapper dropped 2 new tracks, God's Plan and Diplomatic Immunity, on Friday night ahead of the release of his Scary Hours EP.
I will admit they were kind of hot, you know.
Yes.
But in the song,
Fight.
he references his former flame Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, as I call her, on Diplomatic Immunity, singing in 2010 when. Oh, this is what he
You
says
have to
in the
sing
actual.
it or rap it.
I'm gonna try. Okay. Yo. No, it's not gonna work. Sorry. I'm just gonna have to say it. In 2010 was when I lost my Halo. 2017, I lost my J-Lo. Is that good? Okay.
Yeah.
A Rotterdam trip had me on front page, so this could be a rapper's possible addressing. Okay, that's when I stop. That's when I just start talking. So, okay, so basically he's saying all these things because he could be addressing the January 2017 report that included photos of him having a meal with a woman identified, so he allegedly had this meal with this woman, as a former adult film star, Sophie Brousseau. Brousseau.
Yes, I remember seeing those pictures.
Yeah,
it's not alleged. They had dinner.
But
They
the
were
alleged part is
photographed
who
having
she
dinner together.
is. They
Well,
allegedly said that
No,
she's
it is Sophie Brousseau. Now, we just don't know if she was actually dating him or not.
Okay, that's the alleged part. Okay, fair
I
enough.
mean, he did make mention of Rotterdam.
So, but what about when the baby came out? Baby claims a few
wasn't
months
pregnant.
laid.
She wasn't pregnant.
So she never
His
actually had
reps
that baby.
denied.
But and then again, it's like she's an adult film star, so it could have been anybody's baby. I'm just saying.
Oh, goodness.
We don't know it's Drake's baby. I got your back, Drake.
Wow, Shannon.
I'm just
Right,
saying.
we are going there today, aren't we?
Look at the facts. Hello.
I'm moving swiftly on.
Okay.
Because it might be 2018, but we are still unfortunately fighting pay gaps. And the entertainment industry has some of the biggest pay gaps ever. Actress and comedian Monique has called for a boycott of Netflix after accusing the service of gender and race-based pay gaps.
Wow.
It reportedly offered Monique $500,000 for a comedy special, yet Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, which she actually negotiated up to $13 million. And Dave Chappelle was offered $20 million.
Well, you also have to remember that both Amy Schumer and Dave Chappelle were being stolen from HBO specials.
This is true.
So they had to give them a little incentive to get them over to the Netflix
Very
side.
true.
But Monique said that she challenged Netflix on the gap, but received contradictory answers. One response from the surface claimed, well, we don't go off resumes when justifying her pay. But then, get this, contradicted themselves because when defending Schumer's revenue, by citing her experience. So they said,
so
we
they
don't go
kinda
off
played
resumes,
themselves.
but Amy Schumer's
She
got
received this amount because of all the work that she's done.
Exactly. And so Monique found out she wasn't alone when Wanda Sykes told her on Twitter that Netflix offered her less than half of that $500,000 for the Netflix special. So I'm like, she should have just taken it then.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Wanda Sykes was offered
Sykes,
under $250,000,
a comedy veteran,
and currently in Blackish and several other things.
$250,000.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I would have thought she would have got offered more than Monique because she's a little bit more.
At the very least, because she's current, she's in the news, she's currently in episodes of things that we all love watching.
But the problem is, it's going to be, the problem for Monique is, at least, it's going to seem like now every time someone offers her a job or doesn't offer her a job, she's going to try to boycott them and become outspoken about it and then going to cause trouble.
Issue.
So now people are going to be afraid to give you stuff.
If Hollywood blacklist you, then unfortunately you can't blame it on racism.
And now streaming services are going to blacklist you. Come on, Monique, you have to find an outlet to get some money.
You did it to your friend. You did it to Lee Daniels. Come on. Monique, we want to be on your side, but you've got to give us a reason to be. Come on.
Good point.
Oh.
All right.
Right. Now moving on to nicer news. Former first daughter, 19-year-old Malia Obama, has found a way to keep warm this winter with her teenage love. Yes, the eldest Obama daughter explored the streets of New York hand in hand with her British boyfriend, Rory Farquharson, over the weekend.
All right. Well, the couple met at Harvard last semester and were first spotted together in November at a Harvard-Yale football game. Now, for privacy reasons, the 19-year-old rugby player deleted all his social media shortly after the couple made national headlines when they were spotted kissing in public for the first time, just as Meghan Markle did when they were shortly after her royal engagement in 2018. So I guess that's part of the thing. You date somebody that famous, you gotta just disappear.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's gonna be following and critiquing everything everything
Definitely.
you do.
And I mean, we recently saw that video, the Snapchat video that her supposed friends released of her smoking. So
yeah.
I suppose as her, her flame, her love interest,
Yeah.
you don't want to get caught slipping. You might mistakenly put something up there that she's not comfortable with, so just delete it.
Yeah, delete everything and be careful. That's nice that she's able to have like a normal life because she's been under this eye, this scrutiny so long, living in the White House. So it's time for her to get out and have a little fun.
Yes.
So more power to her.
More power to you. And he's a cute girl.
Oh, God. Moving on.
Now, wait, I can't talk about how cute he is?
Okay, fine.
You did very well, darling. I'm proud of you.
Okay. And
Now,
he did too. He did too.
He did exceptionally well.
He came up on that
I
one.
mean, okay, now Queer Eye for the Straight Guy is back, and it looks amazing. The new cast at the reboot is adorable, and I'm literally already in love with each of them. The new Fab Five are Bobby Burke of interior design,
Oh, okay.
Karame Braun from Culture, Anthony Porowski from Food and Wine, Jonathan Van Ness from Grooming from Gay of Thrones, and of course Tan France from Fashion. What a handsome and talented crew.
Did you say from Gay of Thrones?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing. I was like, wait a minute, was this? Okay, hey.
Yes, no,
Why not?
it wasn't a typo.
Okay,
Gay
okay.
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. All right. Well, the new series is set in Atlanta, Georgia, and a Netflix press release states that the guys will forge relationships with men and women from a wide array of backgrounds and beliefs, often contrary to their own, touching on everything from the LGBTQ rights and social commentary to how to make the best farm-to-table guacamole.
Ooh, yum.
Why not? You need that in the show, right? And the new 8-episode series will premiere on Netflix on February 7th.
I
See?
will be watching.
Yeah,
I
but
used to love watching that show.
You'll be watching that show on Netflix, but you won't be watching Monique on Netflix. I'm just saying. No. Sorry. Moment of shade.
I mean, you should be ashamed of
I
yourself.
am.
Now let's move on to a pregnant lady that we all love, Chrissy
Yes,
Teigen.
love her.
Is she having a boy or a girl?
I'm going to say a girl.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, fans think that she just made the big reveal in an Instagram photo, and they're of the same opinion as Shannon, because she captioned the photo, Girls Weekend, and the photo has fans thinking that she's revealed that she'll be having a second baby girl.
Now, that's because in the photo, the expected mom-to-be is reclining on a sofa, showing off her pregnant belly, but she's showing her pregnant belly through a skinny kimono-type robe thing.
There's no
But
one in the picture with her.
Exactly. So since there's nobody in the picture, since she's saying girls trip, could it mean that maybe she's watching a movie girls trip, or she's actually going on girls trip with her and just her little girl?
Wow.
I think she's talking about her and her little girl inside her having a
think
little
so,
girls
too.
trip moment. But if she is watching the movies girls trip, then it could be a good thing because revenues are going up and Tiffany Haddish could take home an Oscar for it. So it all works for everybody, but I think she's having a girl.
I think she's having a girl too, and she looks absolutely beautiful. Look at her
Yeah.
on screen now.
And she's wearing a pink kimono. So that's another sign like, hey, I'm wearing pink. That's a hint. Trying to like drop like a little Beyonce hint there.
I
Find
think
the colors.
you figured it out.
I got you.
There you go.
Decoding Chrissy Teigen.
I absolutely love it. Well,
Yeah.
it's been an extraordinary amount of stories. I think
Yes.
it's time for a well-deserved break.
All right, and then we'll come back with a few guests. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I need to go. Welcome back to Rise Entertainment 360. Now that music that was just playing was Jay-Z's video story of OJ off his newest album 444, which also inspired the book, The Wakeup Call, Financial Inspiration, Learn from 444.
Joining us now is the author of The Wake-Up Call, who says we can learn a lot about our finances from Jay-Z's music. Ash Cash, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Now, we all know that Jay-Z's worth a lot of money. Actually, Forbes valued him at like over $800 million. So we know he knows money. But what can we learn in this book that you got from his actual music?
Oh, absolutely. So Jay was really talking about multiple streams of income, credit, financial freedom, generational wealth, running a business, cooperative economics. He was just giving us so many jewels that I felt like this has to be a how-to guide on how to implement what Jay was talking about during the album.
Amazing. Now you have to tell me, how did you come up with this concept?
It was, you know, the financial educator in me heard these songs, heard these messages, and felt like Jay was doing a great job telling us what needs to happen. How do we, you know, become financially free? But no one gave us the how you're gonna do it. And so for me, I said, you know what, I'm gonna just create this as, you know, a workshop that I go around the country and teach the college students eventually people started asking for more, and the author in me said, all right, you just got to pen this. You just got to put this together. And it's been, received very well, so I'm excited.
Now, do you think that Jay-Z knew what he was doing when he was writing those lyrics, or was he just bragging and telling everybody, I got this and I got that, and talking about, his wealth?
No, I definitely believe that it was intentional.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you listen to Jay throughout his career, this is not his first time giving you what I like to call Hovanomics, right?
Hovanomics.
Hovanomics, right? You got to hashtag that. This is not his first time giving us this. He's sprinkled it throughout his music, but this time he said, I want to be very intentional. You will not be mistaken. I am trying to give people the keys to financial freedom, and so I think he was really intentional when he put this together.
I love that. Now, it's clear to me that Jay-Z has provided the, excuse the pun, blueprint
Absolutely.
on how to save money and how to create wealth. But what would you say one of the most important things that you learned from Jay-Z about money is?
Man, the most important thing, he said this in I Got the Keys, until you own your own, you can't be free. And that's the most important thing, because I don't care how talented you are, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care, what job you have, what fancy title you have, until you own your own, you cannot be free.
I said, God bless the child that's got their own, right?
Absolutely.
So do you know, has Jay-Z gotten a copy of the book yet?
I know Jay-Z knows about the book, right? I know he knows about it, but I'm not sure if he has a copy yet. That's one of my wishes to the universe is that he gets the book, because I think as somebody who has given so much to the culture, and the fact that I would say that he's my mentor from afar, and so for me to put a book like this together, I would love to just hear his thoughts to see did I fulfilled some of what he wanted as far as the message that he was putting out. So Jay, if Jay's listening, anybody from the camp,
tweet us.
Yeah, tweet us, let us know your thoughts.
Well, that's interesting, because you say his thoughts, but what about other thoughts of like the students and the people? What are they saying about the book, and how is it helping them?
No, absolutely. Like it's been so well received. I have people who have told me that they have never read a personal finance book, and it's really helped them. I have people who have bought one copy, read it, and then bought 8 copies to give to their friends and family. And so I am so excited at how it's impacting people's lives, because it's not just telling you, hey, this is what he meant by it, but each chapter actually has a step-by-step guide. And so if people follow it, it's really going to help them just change their financial life, whether it's credit, whether it's home ownership, everything they need to know in order to live financially free.
Now, you mentioned the word impact a fair few times.
Yes.
So what sort of impact on a micro scale, and then on a macro scale, are you hoping that this will have for the culture?
Oh, no, absolutely. I think first and foremost, I want people to take responsibility first, right? Because in order for the culture or the community to become financially free and to become strong, it first starts with the individual. So the individual has to maximize their full potential and be the best that they can possibly be. And so what my hopes is that people read it and they learn how to maximize their full potential. But then, for the culture at large, is to teach them, right? What's better than one billionaire? Two, right? And so for us, for me, it's like really, getting people to now be the best that you can be, so that as a community you become interdependent.
Yes.
Now we stand alone on we maximize our full potential, but then we start to create businesses that are stronger and create communities and create businesses that we could pass down from generation to generation. So for me, I'm hoping to change the narrative of what we know or what has been portrayed or what's been taught to us.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of those things you're teaching in the book.
Yes.
One of the things you talk about is how people can build credit and use it as leverage.
Yes.
Explain that.
Oh, that is so important, because a lot of times when people think about credit, they think about buying a car. And, Jay talks about, I bought every V12 engine. I wish I could take it back to the beginning, right? And so when you think about leveraging your credit, it's about using credit to buy appreciating assets, so that way you don't have to use your own money. Prime example, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they bought a $84 million home in California. Wow. They put like $30 million down, but they took the other $50 million in credit. The reason for it was because the rate that they were getting on that mortgage, which was probably like 4%, but that $50 million they can invest it in something else, giving them more than 4%. So now they're actually gaining by using credit, opposed to using their cash to buy out the home and fully. And so it on our level, I don't have 50, I don't know about you, but
Well,
I don't have 50
I
million.
Definitely didn't have
Right?
85
Speak for
million
yourself.
dollars.
Right. but for us, it's the same. There's ways that we can use credit. Whether it's taking out a business loan if we own a business, whether it is buying a home. There's ways that we could use credit to leverage our money, so that way we can stay liquid, which means having money in our bank accounts.
That's
that.
amazing.
Okay.
I love that. And societally speaking, generally, black people, African Americans, I will say, in this country, don't really have good credit. So it's nice to see you teaching, well, all of us, how to improve our credit scores, because finances are so important. What other gems would you say you have in the book without giving everything away?
Yeah, I think it's really also, Jay-Z talks about merrily eating off of streams, which is a double entendre because he has titles, so he's eating off of the title streams, but he's also talking about multiple streams of income.
Yes.
And so I think that is really important for us to change our relationship with money. Instead of working hard for money, we need our money to work hard for us. We can't be reliant on one source of income, and so we have to merrily eat off of streams as well, but multiple streams. And so we have to create multiple streams of income so that we have financial freedom.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people overspend during the holidays, which
Yes.
just passed. So how can we
I
spend
did.
more wisely, right? How can we spend more wisely throughout the year?
Oh, absolutely. And so I have this phrase I say, act your wage, not your want size, right? And
Wait,
so
say that again.
act your
good
wage, not your want
Oh,
size.
that's deep.
Right?
Okay,
And so a lot of
okay.
times people are acting their want size based on what they want. They start to spend money based on that. But it's important to look at the numbers. And excuse me, but I'm going to keep using Jay-Z lines. Jay said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? And so it's important. Look at those numbers. Look at your wage. Look at how much money you're making, and make sure you're living below your means, right? So it's okay for you to spend, because we all like nice things. We work hard for our money. So it's not saying that you shouldn't spend any money at all, but just act your wage. Look at your money. Make sure that you're at least allocating money towards an emergency fund, towards having at least 6 to 8 months of expenses in an account. Once you have that set up and create a budget that allows you to spend, but at the end of the day, you have to look at your what you're making and live below your means.
But you make it sound so easy, but it's very difficult for a
is.
lot of
Absolutely.
people to do, because they see all those things that they want and they go ahead and get them, and it's hard for people to even, save up 1 month, let alone 6 months.
absolutely.
So I mean, is there any advice you would give to someone
absolutely.
about how to save that chunk of money for 6 months of all your finances?
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's out of sight, out of mind. You are absolutely right. We cannot trust ourselves. The number one reasons why people break savings is because they have their savings account in the same place they have their checking account. So when they're looking at that checking balance, guess what's going to happen? They're going to see that savings balance, and then when your favorite retailer has buy one get one free, you're going to
got savings.
Right, you're going to create something. And so it's out of sight, out of mind. You need to make your savings automatic, first of all, so you don't have to think about it.
Okay.
Second, you have to separate it from your main account, so it's in a place where it's just happening automatic, but you have no access to it. So no debit card attached to it, no real access to it, so that if you need access to your savings, it's only in case of an emergency. And so if you separate it, it's similar like taxes, right? The IRS, takes their money immediately. You never see it. And what do? You budget your money based on what's left over. And so treat yourself like the IRS. Take that 10%, 15%, whatever you're going to take away, have it go automatically in that account, and pay yourself first, and then budget whatever's left over.
I love that so much.
Pay yourself first.
Yeah.
That part.
Now, one thing that Jay-Z speaks about, you've noticed, as you've been saying these lyrics, I've been saying them
Oh,
along with you. I'm a
absolutely,
Jay-Z
absolutely.
fan. I'm a Jay-Z stan, actually. But one thing he
both.
speaks about often, in fact, all the time, is generational wealth.
Yes.
Where he actually attributes it to the Jewish people and the Indian people keeping generational wealth within their families.
Yes.
How can we do that as African Americans, as Black people?
Oh, absolutely. I think there are a few vehicles that we can use. First of all, you have a life insurance. A lot of people don't realize how much life insurance can help you pass down wealth from generation to generation. People automatically think of life insurance as just paying for burial costs.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Yeah, but it's bigger than
much
that,
more.
right? There's
Right.
so much more, and so I think that life insurance is a tool that we can use. You have wills, you have trusts, and you have estate planning, and I think it's important because even in the album, Jay-Z talks about Prince, right? I looked at Prince eye to eye. He told me his wishes before he died, and people don't realize that Prince didn't have a will, and so a lot of his wishes, once he died, you know, the decisions that were being made with his music and with his money went in the hand of a lawyer and, you know, people who took over the estate. And then now, you know, that's why, you know, some of those wishes were, you know, were null and void because he didn't have that will. And so I think that it's important for us to understand how life insurance plays a part, how a will plays a part, even a trust, right? You could create a trust that dictates and tells your money what to do for your family and has conditions. And so we need to not think of these things, because when we think about estate planning, wills, trust, life insurance, we think that it's a tool only reserved for the wealthy, but we have to understand that it is for anybody who cares about their family and who wants their family to be, you know, to be okay or more than okay, you know, even after, you know, our demise. Because we're all going to die. We just don't know when. And so we want to make sure that when that day happens, that our family isn't starting over. Right? We have to, you know, we have to push them forward. Another J line. He said, the child shall lead. So I'll take it as far as I can, and then we shall see. So it's our job to do as much as we can and then allow the child to lead.
I love that. Now, you're dropping all these lyrics. You got to tell us, what's your favorite Jay-Z song?
Oh, man. Favorite Jay-Z song is You Don't Know.
You Don't Know.
And so You Don't Know is when he talks about, you know, put me anywhere on God's green earth, I'll triple my worth, right?
Wow.
And I love that because Jay-Z is one of the most affirmative artists ever, right? And so I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and the words that you say have power. And so a lot of times people may look at what Jay is saying as bragging, but if you recite what he's saying, you're actually saying affirmations.
Oh, I'm gonna start reciting those lyrics now.
You Don't Know for me is the biggest. Anytime I have any big meetings, I don't care if it's a corporate meeting or if I'm speaking to college students, I put You Don't Know on repeat, and it just gives me the energy, because I'm telling you, that's the difference between me and them. I'm smart enough, open the market up.
I love it.
You don't know?
You really don't.
If you don't know where to get the book, tell us.
You can definitely go to Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, but also visit my website, IamAshCash.com.
You are an amazing individual.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, go out and get that book. The Wake Up Call.
ASKS. Mr. Money. We will be right back with more Rise Entertainment 360. Welcome back to Rise Entertainment 360.
That's right, we're already having fun talking fashion, right?
Yes, we are. Now, our next guest is a fashion visionary that has worked with the likes of Dave Chappelle, Travis Scott, and Nike Air, to name just a few.
All right, and now he's using a new exhibit to ignite a conversation about the relationship between streetwear and affluent brands that is blurring the definition of luxury. PEL, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first, just PEL. Just one name, PEL.
Yeah.
Like Prince.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're really famous.
I know. Well, how'd you get the name PEL? We got to start there. It's so
From the military.
Ah.
So, you know, everybody calls one another by your last name. My last name, they were butchering it.
Oh, which is what?
It's Peltier. So
Peltier.
I was Peterson, Petler, Peltzer. I don't know where they got the Z from.
Right.
So they just chopped it down to Pel, and I fought it. I was like, yo, that's not my name. That's not my name. Then I was like, there's no other Pel. Let me rock with that.
Okay.
It's been pretty good. You never met no other Pel before?
I really haven't.
Never. It works for your brand, right?
Exactly.
Now, your new exhibition is called Luxurious Villain.
Yes.
Tell me about where that name came from, and then about the concept.
A long time ago, I had a brand called Gatsby from the book, which was one of my favorite books, along with The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. And so I did a t-shirt that said Luxurious Villain. It was a play off of Louis Vuitton. I was drawing this cat character, and I wrote Luxurious Villain on my Instagram underneath it, and it caught like a wave.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, let me go along with it, go a little bit deeper, and I was already doing the show, and I was like, that's gonna be the name of it, Luxurious Villain.
Very cool.
And now you talk about that, you know, it came from the Louis Vuitton, but it was streetwear. So how have you seen the lines blur between some of the other streetwear and affluent brands?
Well, you have brands like Off-White by Virgil that have come into play, and it's actually going against the tides of what we know as being an affluent brand. It's very streetwear. you have sweatpants that are being worn out to Grammy events and things of that nature.
Now, are those regular sweatpants or like designer sweatpants?
Well,
They're flat sweatpants.
Very much designer, but we're also seeing, Louis Vuitton doing a collaboration with Gucci. I mean, with Louis Vuitton doing a collaboration with Supreme, which was unheard of. We see Gucci now doing something with Dapper Dan, which is unheard of.
Oh, okay.
So
it's
these
collabos.
Yeah, but you also have a lot of streetwear brands that are now growing, and they're selling T-shirts for like $150 to $400.
Wow, for a T-shirt.
Yes.
It's interesting that you called your exhibition The Luxurious Villain, because I felt like when I heard the name and then I thought about the concepts, affluent brands and luxury or lifestyle brands, I felt that there was a little bit of the luxury brands sort of siphoning from the lifestyle brands and actually gaining a bigger audience.
Well, that does happen.
Them.
That does happen.
So how have you seen affluent brands and lifestyle brands grow or not?
Well, there are no gatekeepers anymore, and that's just because of social media.
Right.
So before you had affluent, everybody wanted to get Louis or Gucci or Fendi. That's not the case no more. A kid in his backyard, he can wind up making a brand that starts to gain traction.
Right.
So these more affluent brands, they're seeing this and they're seeing this energy and they want to capture it. Look at Gucci had their new ad campaign, seems very Brooklyn. They have kids like dancing in a circle. The colors are high energy. It looks like streetwear from the mid 2000s. I was actually like taken back. I was like, this is Gucci?
Like, what's going on here?
Right. Well, they are kind of ciphering off of that then. They're
That's
kind of
what I
borrowing
was
from,
thinking. Yeah.
taking some of that
Everybody,
vibe.
so the idea of the villain is everybody's taken from everybody.
Yeah.
Before, it was a trickle-down effect from the runway coming down, and when you was in streetwear, you was trying your best to try to make a brand that had that feeling. So you would take the colors from Gucci and you throw it on something, and then the kids would be like, I can't afford Gucci, but I'll get this. But right now, these higher end brands, they're like, we need that energy. So they're making trainers, they're making sweatpants,
And here's some of the cat right here that you were talking
Oh,
about before.
I
We're showing
like
pictures
that.
of the cat. Little
So why have you
images
covered
there.
up the names? I see that you covered up a few of the design names with other designers. So you crossed out Gucci and wrote Louis and graffiti writing.
So it's the idea of these higher end brands are seen as gangs or crews, right? Because of the brand loyalty and people who are actually,
They even have gang colors.
Right, gang colors, right?
I mean,
designer gang colors though.
I mean, red and green, for Gucci. You're not going to get that confused with Louis.
Right.
So I have the cat is playing, he's like the antagonist of this entire story.
Right.
He has two tails for a reason, but each of us have two tails as well. So he's crossing out one, defacing one name with another to start to stir this conversation. But the show is going to be more than that. I'm just dropping these little tidbits to open up the conversation.
Well, and part of that conversation is the evolution of the streetwear. Can you take us back a little bit and talk to us about how it has evolved into this to begin with?
Well, streetwear was like urban and skate started to come together and merge. So a lot of kids, a lot of African American kids, we weren't skating back in the days like that, but now we're taking it on. So we actually started pilfering from one another's culture. Now, when it comes to the higher end brands, they saw this and they kind of like looked down upon it, because as a designer coming from a streetwear background, we had to fight to try to get our way up there to a well-established brand. They were looking down at us because we didn't go to school. So streetwear really did come from the streets. It very much is hip-hop. You don't have the tools to actually make something happen, you're going to get pots and pans. You're going to start scratching.
Right.
You're going to rap on the corner.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And streetwear took the same path.
Okay.
But it's just, but now it's here. Just like hip-hop is here. It's here.
It is here to
and
stay.
Got that right.
Now, you're a creative visionary, because when you're not designing outfits, you're creating vapes with Mez. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Mez is a cannabis brand, and I helped him to do all the packaging, the logo, and things of that nature. Helped him with some light branding as well. So that has been very interesting. And what's going on with the cannabis culture and what have you. I feel I'm very happy that when I was able to do the Dave Chappelle thing, they said, oh, we want to just paint one case and give it to Dave.
Right.
To commemorate his 30 years as a comedian. I was like, why are we doing that? Like, why don't we do 30?
Yeah.
And so I did 30. Actually did his logo painted on 30 cases.
Oh, wow.
And my idea was everybody would get a piece of Dave Chappelle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But not only that, January 1st, 2018 was the first day that cannabis was legalized in California. So I was like, oh, this is great.
All right, monopolize on that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, I have to ask you: have you ever gotten high with Dave Chappelle?
Look at the pictures on the screen. I think that answers your question.
Well, they met, and so I'm thinking, what happened there?
Dave is very. Let's preface this by saying Dave Chappelle is very open about his cannabis smoking.
Yeah.
He
talks about it all
jokes
the
about it
time
all the time.
Yes.
His New Year's
Yes.
special, he jokes about it again about the
Yes.
fact that he was booed off stage at a
Yes.
comedy special in
Exactly.
Detroit because
Yeah.
he was too high. So, back to
No.
Shannon's question.
No. Actually, no. And he also, no one smoked any of the 30.
Oh, really?
No,
they went to waste.
They just looked at it.
Well,
And I was
you
like,
gave it to him as a
was
commemorative
good.
gift.
Yeah, but everybody,
That's
they
true.
were more wowed at the art and the idea behind it, and they were like, "Oh wow, okay, that's great."
Well, I guess that's a nod to your work then, I guess. Don't be
Hey,
offended.
I was happy to be a part of it. He was very surprised. He was more surprised that 30 items were painted to make his logo. He was like, wow, this is great. And then they had me do a hand drawing as well to commemorate his time at the Forum in LA. So the artwork is actually of his logo is hanging in the Forum right now.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Oh, love
Yes,
that.
I like that.
Amazing
All right.
stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us, how can people learn more about the exhibit that's coming up this spring, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
coming up this spring. I'm going to be dropping little tidbits through my Instagram. I'm treating it just like a sneaker release, like a streetwear release. So you're gonna find out everything through social media. It'll be at PEL NYC, and we're also doing some giveaways. And the locations will be in New York, Miami, Chicago, and France so far.
So we need to watch your page to find out little tidbits of where it's going to be,
Yes.
how we can see it, all that stuff. And who the villain is.
Yes, and I mean everybody's the villain because we're all pilfering from one another.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we want to see some glimpses of the
yes.
villains from the show. So we'll
Yes,
see
it
that
will
on
unfurl.
Instagram.
It will unfurl.
You should do like Banksy and like leave little bits of you across the city, and then we
Like
follow
a treasure
your
hunt,
pictures.
right?
Yes,
I've done that before though.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, with something to commemorate my mother. I did something like
I
that.
love that. So at PEL NYC is your
Yeah.
Instagram handle to
Yes.
follow you to make sure that we get all the information as and
Yes.
out when you release it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us.
very
Good luck
much. I
on
appreciate
everything.
it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Such a joy.
All right, and we'll be right back with more Rise 360. Welcome back to Rise 360. All right, we know the weather has been pretty up and down, at least here, right? Well, brutal winter weather conditions also kept many Texans home earlier this week when San Antonio was hit with freezing temperatures, leading to extremely icy roads. And police departments in that area have warned drivers to stay off the roads, with many schools and businesses shutting down until further notice.
Yes, now the State Department actually issued a warning on the 16th of January stating that all offices would be closed for the day. Brutal winter weather conditions had some citizens worried about having to go to work, but one man got what he wanted in a surprising way. He got in touch with the State Police Department asking them to write a note to get the day off work. Now get this, not only did they grant his request, they also wrote to his boss asking to increase his salary.
Oh my gosh, can I get an officer like that?
Right?
I'm
What
just
a great
saying.
way to start the new year.
And a great way to end the show.
Hey, hey.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you for more Rise 360 tomorrow.
Woo!